Oh look, I think you are live.
There you go.
And I've got all different messages coming up which I don't understand on my phone. Hold on a minute. Let me just plug my mic in.
Hopefully you can all hear us.
Skip survey. Hi all. I don't know if anyone's listening in at the moment. Oh, sorry about that. But we're about to start driving home. I will read a couple of messages out. Auntie Trev said, loud and clear. Thank you, Auntie Trev. You're a star.
Thanks, Trev.
Thank you. So we're late coming back because we had a very bad journey down here. A new phone later and whatnot. It took us about 4 hours to get here. But anyway, hopefully it will be a better drive back. So Deal was lovely. We intend to sell up and move here as soon as possible. It's just so lovely.
It is.
So,
it's very,
so
very nice. I have to agree with Sarah there.
Yeah, really glad that we came back. We had a lovely walk to Walmer. Had chips on the pier. Thank you very much for that little treat. That was so kind of you guys. So we had chips on the pier. We had a lovely coffee in Walmer. Really, really nice walk. Didn't actually have time to get ice cream in the end. But yeah, really, really nice. Thoroughly recommend it. Beautiful, clean, no litter, lovely little independent shops. Everything looks nicer in the sun. Yeah, so it was worth the aggro that we had getting here, really.
Right. Shall we make a move?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we are 88 miles from home, and it's about 2 hours and 1 minute. About 201 minutes. Yeah. Precisely, yeah. According to Waze.
So we got 19 people in the car with us. That probably includes me. But yeah, thanks for joining us. I'll start reading out some of the messages. I think some of them probably came along before the drive was originally scheduled at 4 o'clock, so some might be a bit late or we're late to reply. So Mark Brooks said, what is your opinion about idiots pulling out as you're moving into a space just past a Fox junction, forcing you to stop in a box junction?
In actual fact, that did happen on the way here, but you wouldn't have been able to see that because it was on the rear view camera. In Croydon, a car in front of us pulled across the lane. I got through the yellow box junction, but the police van behind me didn't. The police van was in the yellow box junction along with about 2 or 3 other cars, and you'll see that on another video when I do one with the best bits from this. But yeah, they're annoying because you can contest that though, because when you turn right, say for instance my exit was clear, but the geezer in front of me changed lanes and then it wasn't clear. So you can actually contest that, and that's another reason why you need a dash cam to show that.
I'm just looking over there and I think I can see France.
Ooh la la.
Yeah, it's lovely. Supercars of the Isle of Man said okay when I just put a post earlier, Tone, just saying that we'd be about an hour later. Ibby's on and said, thank you for the update, Sarah and Tony. I was so tempted to drive over to Deal and say hello or leave a note on your car, always an Audi. Greetings from in here at home during your drive home. So you watched what happened this morning. I can say, wow, someone someone hitting a car at a crossing, then 200 metres down the road, someone else wants to do the same. And then Auntie Trev said loud and clear, to market to buy. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you had a great day, Tony and Sarah. What goodies have you bought? So we didn't buy a lot. We bought fish. We bought some chips, which were absolutely lovely.
Yeah, they were good chips.
From a fish and chip shop that's coming up now on our right. Just along here, there's a fish and chip shop called Sea View, and it's the Sea View restaurant, which you'll see in a second. We've just gone by it on our drive. Really, really nice. And then we took our lovely chips and walked along the pier and ate them at the end of the pier, which again was lovely. And ooh, hold on a moment, I've got a advert thing popped up, so I can't see the live drive, but never mind. If I skip that, that's better. Susie Forrester said, smash that thumbs up, guys. Lisa Sargent said, stream will improve, guys. And Alan Howard said, yeah, you're back. Nice one, Tony. Signal is breaking. Right. And Lisa Sargent said, don't worry, stream will improve. We had this on the way in. And Alan said, how was Deal? Lovely, Alan, really nice. We had a lovely time. We're just driving along more or less the way that we walked this morning. So we're coming into Walmer now, and on the left,
the castle.
Yeah, we've got Deal Castle, which we didn't have time to go in, but we walked around the outside. Yeah, really nice. And we walked along here, some lovely houses. And we think possibly an old army. It doesn't look like barracks. It looks too grand to be barracks, but a military building. We're not sure what it was, but it was lovely.
This one here with a big clock.
Yeah. You may see it in a moment. What I can see is a couple of minutes behind what's on the dash, love.
Right.
Just so you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and coming up here is Walmer lifeboat station, which looks like it's in a converted chapel, which is quite quirky, next to a lovely little bandstand. There were fishing boats being brought in when we were walking along. Yeah, lovely. JKR Gaming said it's not even summer yet and it's pretty hot. It was actually quite chilly. The bright sun all day, but a bit chilly. But now it's the end of the day. There's no breeze, and it has got really hot, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Vinny M said, so what did you have for dinner? We just had chips, Vinny. Really nice.
That's all that we needed, to be honest.
Yeah, it was. And then we walked them off because we did have quite a lot. It's lovely, isn't it?
We're really coming home with an ice cream truck.
Oh yeah, that's what we did buy.
Yeah.
We bought an ice cream
truck for our grandson.
Yeah.
Little toy. Like he hasn't got
any.
He's got no cars at all or anything like that.
Right. Alan said, did you get sorted with a new phone? And Ibby was just about to ask the same thing. Alan said, beat you, Ibby. Ibby said, this is all so familiar. I was so tempted to come to Deal and see if I could meet you to say hello. Indeed, Howard. What route are you taking home? Ibby asks.
This time I'm just letting the sat-nav, which is Waze, take us the quickest route. I didn't even look, to be honest. I just tapped in home and it's just going to take us there. So I'm guessing we'll be quicker than what we were coming down here. We can't be any longer.
God, I hope not. I'm really thirsty. I put too much salt on them chips, you know.
There's Ribena there.
Thank you. Vinny said, that's what grandparents are for, buy stuff they don't need. Laugh out loud. Very, very true. It's what we do best. Warmer Castle Road, yeah, I could live here. Most definitely. So I'll be on Rightmove again tonight, Tony, sending you random pictures of houses.
Yes, it is definitely a place that we could actually move to, without a doubt.
Alan said, if you're using Waze, Tony, it will take you here, there and everywhere.
Yeah, sometimes it does. I have literally changed last week actually from Google Maps to Waze, and the reason being is because there is so many roadworks around where I live that Google's not spotting them, or if there is spotting them, it's driving me straight to it, where Waze is a little bit better at going round them and everything. And you know, it just drives you mad. Just keep driving straight. I can't understand what Google Maps will actually take you to the roadworks, you know, when there's ways round it. It is odd. When you've considered it owned by the same company, Waze and Google, one's so much different from the other. So yeah, last week I changed to Waze, and I'm starting to use Waze now, which hopefully it's not going to be too shortcutty, because it's not the nicest drives in the world. Sometimes it's always looking for shortcuts when there's not a lot of traffic around, and you don't really need the shortcuts all the time.
Michelle Simpson said, did you go to the loo before leaving? And Vinny M said, has Tony had a wee before he left?
Oh no, so you've planted the seed now. we did, we both had little trips to the toilet before leaving, but then I did have a trip to the toilet before we left home this morning. It didn't stop me wanting to go.
Ibby said, all the London traffic will be heading towards the coast on a Friday afternoon, so you should hopefully be against the traffic.
Yeah, hopefully.
Alan said, ambulance again, hope it's not serious. Saying that, I nearly died in 1999 due to a massive hernia I suffered. Oh wow.
Who was that?
That was Alan Howard. So glad you recovered,
yeah.
Alan. Christine Twine said, I love listening to your lovely London accents. As long as I can hear you, I'm happy. I live in Southampton. With my accent, people think I'm a farmer. Oh. Michelle Simpson said, looks so clean. It really was, Michelle. Yeah. There was hardly any litter. And we actually saw in one of the side roads, there was an elderly lady outside her house cleaning her step.
And the road.
And the road.
Sweeping the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like the old days.
Yeah, but you know, taking responsibility and pride in your environment. It's really lovely to see. Alan Howard said, Tony, think of running water from a garden hose. Laugh out loud. Oh look, Sutton. There was a sign for Sutton there. Not Sutton where we are. Because I was reading messages on the way here, I'm not sure if we're leaving in the same way that we came in. I think we are.
Yeah, we are.
Ibby said, can you get Tony to say, and we're on the good old M25 with the good old British workforce?
When we
not a lot of people know that, even though I know you're not on the M25.
Yeah, when we get to the M25, I'll say it. Because what we're on now, we're on the what is that, 5-9?
The A258.
Yeah, we're on the good old A258 at the moment.
If he said, sure thing. Vinny M said, it'd be the London Dashcam bingo, dabber at the ready. Alan said, I was in Dryburn Hospital for 2 days after my operation. The only thing I remember of that day when I got to hospital was a doctor sticking a needle in my bum.
Nice.
Oh. Ibby said that in itself was brilliant. Alan said it made me jump. Not surprised.
Yeah.
Seen quite a few signs for little holiday camps. They must be little holiday, I don't know, caravan touring parks maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And Alan's just said, but I made a full recovery. Well, that's the main thing, Alan.
That is the main thing.
Vinnie M said, whenever we go on a family day out, I ask on the way home, what's the best bit and the worst bit? So, Tony.
The worst bit was definitely the technical side today of the phones playing up. That wasn't good at all. That probably put about an hour and a half on our journey.
Yeah. And it got really stressy, didn't it?
It did get really stressy. YouTube wasn't behaving. Nothing was working well on the phone at all. So yeah, that was definitely the worst bit. The best bit, the chips were very nice. The chips were very nice.
Yeah.
And yours?
Probably the same, actually. For me, I really enjoyed my cup of coffee.
Yeah, that was a nice coffee.
It was nice. Tiny little place that we went to near the Walmer lifeboat station.
The guy looked really shocked that we wanted to pay as well.
Yeah, that was really bizarre, wasn't it? It's like, oh, so should I pay now? And he looked really surprised, you know. But anyway, yeah, so nice cup of coffee. And I think our journey back was nice. We had a nice sort of hour's walk back to the car.
Yeah.
By the way, Ibby, thank you for the tip about parking.
Yeah.
Because we did park.
Park for nothing.
Yeah, we parked for nothing right at the end, as you suggested. So we had a lovely walk in to Deal and then on to Walmer and back again. So lovely tip.
We've
Thank
both
you.
done over 10,000 steps in that little time that we were there.
Ibby says to Alan, sorry to hear that about your 1999 hernia and glad you pulled through. I had a hernia at 9 months old and almost didn't make it. Glad you made a full recovery.
That's weird. It's taking us that way.
To Dover.
Taking us to Dover.
Yeah. So on the way, when I came down last weekend on the coach journey, that was via Dover. We drove through Dover.
All right.
That way. But not Folkestone. We didn't go that way. We sort of came in from, can't remember where, but we came into Dover anyway.
Yeah.
Maidstone? I'm going to say Maidstone we came in through.
Mm-hmm.
That rings a bell. It's all right, Pete. Good girl. Michelle Simpson said, I don't do needles unless I have to. Avery Hill Road said, do you remember the episode of That's Life when Richard Stilgo played a piano on a bridge over Swanley A20 junction? It's now the M25 junction. That rings a bell, actually. Do you remember That's Life? Sunday night viewing.
Yeah, it was big.
That was like
show,
one of the highlights of the weekend, wasn't it?
When
weekend TV really was stuff to look forward to. Alan Howard said it weren't nice to say the least, Ibby. And Ibby said, I think I remember that. Rob McNair said, evening all. Evening, Robert. And Ibsy said, I can only imagine, Howard. Alan said, I hate needles myself, Michelle, but saying that, who does? Arthur Andrews said, really enjoying the live drive. I think London Dashcam is one of the best on YouTube.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you,
Can you see
Arthur.
the sea? Can you see the sea?
I can see the sea.
See Dover.
Oh, wow.
Dover crossing.
That is so, gosh, the sea is so calm. It is like glass. How lovely. Just looking up from the questions for a minute, because it's
Us townies
really
don't get
nice
to
to
see this well.
see. Yeah. So just looking at the cliffs, you can see all bits in there that must have been carved out from the war. And it's those huge houses at the very bottom of the cliffs. Oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, sorry, Pip. Ib said, yes, the parking. I'm like a human sat nav. Oh, wow. 10,000 steps. Absolutely hats off to you. Thank you. I'm glad we did, though. Putting on the old pounds, you know. Alan Howard said, change ways to Google Maps, Tony, and you'll probably end up in Scotland. Laugh out loud. Ibsy said, you'll get a nice view of Dover Docks in a moment, and you'll probably just see that we did, Ibsy. Ibby, sorry. Ibby. I'm getting confused with Tony calling you Hibs earlier, so sorry about that. Vinnie M said, we had no choice to watch it. We only had 4 channels. True, true. Coventry Goth Girl said, hi, I'm back. Hi, hello. Coventry Goth Girl. Hope the DIY went okay. Just so you know, we didn't go inside, but we did walk around Deal Castle, and yeah, it's lovely there. I can imagine you must have lovely memories of being in Deal. We absolutely had a lovely day, afternoon. Alan said, I remember that, Saif. Can you remember the soda fountain dogs episode and the dog that talked? Sausages. That was the dog, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Both on YouTube still, I think.
A lot of that was shot down North End Road in Fulham, where where I grew up. A lot of that, they were always down there.
Yeah,
down
interviewing people, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Coventry Goth Girl said, it's Dover Ferry Port. I've stood on the edge of the White Cliffs and looked out towards France. You can see it. And Ibby said, I used to see this view daily as I worked in the IT department of one of the major ferry companies from 1986 to 88. Was there during the time of that ferry incident. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ibby's great, actually. I've never heard that before. I love it. You're very kind, Ibby. Me accidentally changing your nickname. Dover Harbour, cruise terminals. Coventry Goth Girl said, nice to hear you like Deal Castle. Yes, I've fond memories of visiting there and walking to the end of Deal Pier. There was a nice restaurant at the end of Deal Pier. We didn't go in, but had a little look at the menu. Yeah, it looked very nice, I must say. Nice that the benches both sides run the whole length of the pier as well.
Really good idea. You shouldn't have any trouble finding a seat.
Yeah.
In Deal if you're there.
Alan said, nice van, a Sprinter. And Michelle Simpson said, do you mean that's Life with Esther Ranson?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
So now we're on the good old A20.
Okay. Ibby said, I think your sat-nav is taking you on to the M20. Not sure if Operation Brock is in place with a 50-mile-an-hour limit and narrow lanes. I'm imagining things or are temporary road lanes, temporary roadwork lanes narrower?
I guess we're going to find out shortly.
And Michelle said same difference. Oh, the sun's bright, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our son's driven me along this on the route from Folkestone to Dover. I don't remember coming along this bit though, but I don't know if there's another road sort of closer to the coastline, if you know what I mean. Maybe.
It is odd. Coming down here, I use the same sat nav, and yet it's taking me a completely different way. Coming out of Deal to going into Deal, completely different.
Coventry Goth Girl said, "Ah yes, the benches at that restaurant are amazing. The wood finish inspired my dad's dining table. He said to say another hello as he's gone home now. The DIY was okay, but I've cut my thumb bad."
Ooh.
Oh, that's not good. Ibby said, "You'll be passing by Samphire Hoe on your left soon. Worth a visit next time." I saw a sign for that a little while ago, actually. I don't know if we've been by it.
A splat bug.
Alan said, "If your car has an outside temperature gauge, what is it where you are? It's 20 degrees here in Hartlepool."
17 here, according to the car.
Oh, Ibby said, "You'll also be going through the short round hill tunnel soon and may lose reception." Andrew Crawshaw said, "You're going to have to go west next time so you don't have the sun in your eyes."
Yeah.
So are we going along now towards Folkestone, or are we going in towards, like, up towards?
A little bit further up. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You need to talk to him. He knows the way. He knows the area.
Yeah. Alan said, "Go West, another good group from the good old 80s. I think they used to live in Twickenham, Go West. My Uncle Roy used to live in Twickenham, and he always used to say one of the band members from Go West lived behind him, and they all used to drink in the Cabbage Patch."
What's this haze?
I don't know.
What's this?
I think that might be a tractor, or no, there isn't a tractor that I can see. Doesn't smell like fire. I don't know what that was. Ibby said, "On this stretch, this is the closest road to the coast." Thanks, Ibby.
Right, see?
Yes. And you are heading towards Folkestone, yes.
Yeah, see? Talk to the man that knows. I don't know round here. I'm not, it's out of my territory.
And Vinny said, "Hit the thumbs up for Tony and Sarah." Thank you, Vinny. And Coventry Goth Girl said, "Have you seen any numpties yet, Tony?"
Not on the way home yet, no. On the way here, yeah, there was quite a few.
JJ Forfall said, "Andrew Crawshaw, are you related to Ivan?" Alan Howard said, "The Go West duo was Peter Cox and Alan Drummy." And Michelle Simpson said, I've met Go West. They've performed at my place of work.
All right. So here's the tunnel. We may lose some signal here.
Okay.
When we go under this. So bear that in mind, people.
We'll be passing by 20. I can see the sea. I was just looking to see if I could see the bursting, but I don't think I could. But I think I could see some of the buildings I recognise from the seafront.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is the Hawkinge side of Folkestone. Yeah.
We normally come off of junction 13.
Was that back there, wasn't it?
When we go to Folkestone.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Why slow down to go in front of us?
Why pull out in front of us? Well, there's numpty number 1.
Yeah. Check my watch to see if my heart rate's gone up. JJ44 only lost a little bit of signal.
And he's only coming off here as well. And yet he pulls round in front of that car, in front of me, and he's going off the next junction.
Andrew Crawshaw to AJ said, yeah, why? I think that was about being related to Ivan. Where are we? Ibby said, surprisingly, no loss of signal, though lost audio briefly in the tunnel and a slight drop in video quality, but all okay after the tunnel.
Cool.
Alan Howard said, you said Alan Cox, Sarah. His name is Richard Drummy. Funnily enough, the guy who used MOT on my cars at the Morrison Bushy Council Depot was called Alan Cox. JJ44 said, first numpty. And Ibby said, Audi driver in training. Andrew Crawshaw said, agree.
Now, I don't know whether there's a police car up in front. I don't know whether the guy behind him or in front of the police car has seen him, because he's pulled out and he must be speeding because we're not catching him. No, but the police officer is not bothered about it.
Yeah, Ibby said, Audi driver in training. Andrew Crawshaw said, agree. Coventry Goth Girl said, can't wait for the accompanying compilation video. And yeah, I just spotted it, numpty number 1. JJ Farfall said that he used to work with him in York. That was to Andrew, and I think he's talking about Ivan.
Right.
Small world.
Mm.
You know each other. So there's signs coming up for the Dymchurch Railway. I'd like to do that this year. Give that a try. Ibby said they have an elevated police observation lay-by up ahead. We look out for that.
Mm.
There's that wild animal park coming up as well. Is it Limpney or something? I'm pronouncing it wrong. But that's another one that we should visit this year. Andrew Crawshaw said, just be glad he's not doing it more. And Ibby said, Limpney, yes, about the wild animal park. Coventry Goth Girl has said, my daughter Charlotte is glued to your live drive right now. I call her and she won't look away, mesmerised. Give her a shout out, please. Hi, Charlotte.
Hello, Charlotte. Thanks for watching.
Are you listening to Mummy? Andrew just said any more instead of a more. I read that wrong. Alan Howard said, how on earth did some people pass a driving test? Did they bribe the examiner or get their licenses from a cornflake packet or prize bingo? Alan said house. JJ Forfall said second prize. Neil Blow has just joined saying watching again from Lincoln. Michelle Simpson said my examiner was at my club where I work the weekend before had her test and he remembered me. Andrew Crawshaw said, why am I getting so many adverts on here? I don't know. I can't see any adverts. So I did earlier on the chat. I kept getting adverts coming up, and I had to press skip, and they
all down
stopped.
to YouTube putting them on. Yeah, it's how they earn their money and how we earn our money as well, creators.
But I haven't seen any on your live drive. No. If you see what I mean, it's really odd. It came for me. I don't know about Andrew. They just sort of go over my chat rather than the picture, but I haven't had any yet on this one back.
Yeah.
Hope they stop, because that's irritating, isn't it? Coventry Goth Girl said, no, she's still not listening to me when I call her, but she heard her name then and made a squeaky laugh noise. Thank you both. You're welcome. And you're welcome too, Charlotte. Fancy Bobby Bob said, hello from Edmonton, Canada. Love your videos. Ibby said, I was going to do gardening, but I'm also glued to your live drive. At least now I get a 5-week break in leukemia treatment before back at it in May. I promised my very dear mum to look after things. Oh, well, I hope you have a good restful break from it, and I hope you enjoy being in the garden. It's really therapeutic sometimes. They call it the green gym, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
And you usually you get out what you put in, you know, you get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and when you see your hard work looking lovely in the summer months. And Andrew said, yeah, the just over the chat, that's the ads that I think he's referring to.
Yeah. Oh, mate.
Just so you know, Tony, you've got 48 people sitting in the back seat of the car on the way back.
Cool.
Ibby's just saying to Fancy Bobby Bob, fellow Canadian here. I'm British as well as Canadian in Canterbury, UK, but other home is Vancouver. Neil Blow said, love watching your video.
Cool. Thank you.
A couple of comments there from Ibs and Helen about signalling problems and spinning circle for me. Hopefully that's cleared up now. It looks a bit clearer from what I can see.
It's weird why that does that, because we've got full phone signal, 5G and everything, and yet it still struggles sometimes.
Coventry Goth Girl said, I like that term, green gym. Very apt. I got started on mine and it looks good so far, but the ants are starting to make their nests now. Have you ever been bitten by the red ones? Ouch.
No, I can't say I have.
No, but I've been bitten by an ant though. Only a little nip, but it, yeah, really went red, swelled up. Alan said, back again, and Ibby said, signalling problems equals BMW and Audi driver. Alan said, yay. Yeah, it looks like a lot more traffic going the other way, isn't it?
Yeah.
All doing what we always wish we could do on a Friday, which is get down to the coast.
Coast for the weekend, yeah.
Yeah. Coventry Goth Girl had said, buffering circle of doom every few minutes, my end, with some thumbs down.
Yeah.
And Andrew Crawshaw said, full out advert now, with an angry face.
That's it.
Alan said, Friday afternoon traffic, they'll be in too much of a hurry to get home. Andrew is gonna, Ibby said, yes, I got an advert too. Andrew Crawshaw said, gonna turn off, then back on again. Sometimes that's exactly does the trick, doesn't it? With a lot of things.
Yep.
Make MP 1997 Gaming has said, hello from the Netherlands.
Hello.
Hello. I thought of Rotterdam then, talking of the Netherlands, going under that bridge. It reminded me of that bridge in Rotterdam.
Yeah.
Can't remember what it's called now. Alan Howard said, I've got an ad blocker on Google and I don't get ads. Kel said, hello Kel, by the way, love the video, I've just finished work and it's really relaxing listening to you both. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mick H said, love your programme, London Dashcam, keep up the good work, and does your wife drive and did you teach her?
Yes, she drives, and no, I did not teach her.
And yes, I can drive, but I haven't driven for about 15 years. Ibby said, will you have to pass by M25 A3 roadworks? If so, hope it doesn't delay you.
No, we come off before then. We do have to go on the M25, the good old M25, but yeah, we're well before then. We'll probably be going down the M23 to the A23 that way.
So are the roadworks all to do with that Wisley roadwork?
Yeah.
Oh, again.
This weekend, I think it is.
Right.
Both ways, which causes havoc.
Vinny said, I don't watch TV, only YouTube, so I pay £12 a month for no ads. Well worth it.
Yeah, we do a lot of YouTube now.
Yeah, we do more, well, as much YouTube as Netflix, and hardly any terrestrial TV for probably a year.
Yeah, mainly all on demand and YouTube.
Alan has said, have you ever considered using some of your content for a TV show, Tony?
I have had a few offers for that sort of thing, where they want some of my clips, but they also want me, but not keeping me anonymous. They want me, you know, to do an interview with me and all that sort of stuff, which is not me, really. Obviously, I keep my face off of the screen and all that sort of stuff, which I have been thinking about, not, you know, showing me boat race, but I'm not quite there yet. But yeah, I have had a few offers to do that sort of thing, and I've refused them all so far.
And a lot of it for the reasons that we were chatting about on the way down
here. Yeah, when you've got the your haters, you don't know if they are a bit Benny in the head, you know.
Michelle said, tell us how you passed your test after only having 13 lessons.
Well, the thing is, I had the motorbike for like a couple of years, so I got all of my road experience from riding a motorbike. So I knew how roads, and I was always watching my dad and my brother drive. We used to go quite a lot out in the cars and that, and I was always watching what they were doing. I was like a little sponge. I was taking in everything because they both drove correctly. Other than my dad didn't like changing gears very much, and the car would be shaking all over the place because you should be in a lower gear. They did drive correctly, and I took that all in. I knew how to do the gears and all that sort of stuff from my bike and that, and yeah, and I didn't really need that many. And plus I had my own car as well. I already had a Mini that I used to sit in and just mess about in and just eating, not driving it, just getting a feel of changing gears and all that sort of stuff, just sitting in there. Yeah, so might not have been the best thing, because I remember I did fail my first time and passed on the second go. So it might not have been the best thing to do. Maybe I did need more lessons. But I actually think I drove better on the first test than what I did on the second test. I had the same guy as well, the same examiner. About 2 weeks after the first fail, I had the same guy straight afterwards, and it's like, oh no, but he passed me.
Alan said, quick learner, Michelle. Make MP 1997 Gaming said, well, the bridge in Rotterdam is called, and I'm going to embarrass myself now because I know I can't pronounce it, Erasmusbrug. But yes, I remember it, but I know I can't say it. So thank you very much for that, but apologies for my poor pronunciation. Ibby said, good to hear that you turn off at the M23. Coventry Goth Girl said, that's an odd one. I've got ad blockers too, but still get ads. My little brother pays for no ads, but I don't think it's worth the price, do you? And then said, haha, Vinny, just beat me there to my question. Avery Hill Road said, can you see Canary Wharf yet? Vinny M said to Coventry Goth Girl, happy to help. And Coventry Goth Girl said, go on the radio then, Tony. Would that be an idea?
Yeah, could do like a podcast, I guess, something like that.
I wonder how easy it is to set up a podcast.
Yeah, but it's knowing what to talk about, though. You're just constantly you're talking all the time. At least if you're driving, you've got something to look at. When you have the quiet moments.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
But it is. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's finding the time to do it. I don't have a lot of time to actually do as much YouTubing as what I wanted to, because I was seriously thinking about doing the YouTubing part full time, and just trying to grow it and grow it and grow it, and obviously earn enough money to keep me. And the wife obviously did. We owe the amount that I have to, fork out for her habits. But I was trying to do all of that, and I haven't really had the time to actually put in as much time into it as what I wanted to as well. So putting in extra projects might be a little bit difficult at the moment.
Ibby said, by the way, we have a Surrey as a suburb of Vancouver as well as a Richmond. When these appear in my Facebook feed, I constantly have to check if it's for the UK or Canada. Alan said, "It's a shame, Tony. We want to see what you and Sarah look like. The idiots wouldn't be on your channel if they didn't do stupid tricks on the road." Make MP 1997 Gaming said, "It is all right."
Yeah. I mean, I may just sort of brave it and do it one day and show my face.
We see.
Yeah, we'll see. It might be.
Maybe when we move to Deal.
Yeah.
Vinny M said, "I follow a lot of Tenerife YouTubers and have appeared in a lot of lives. I've been recognised twice. Weird when people come up to you and know your name." Ibby said, "I remember being taught to sequentially change down through every gear, then when slowing or stopping. A few years later, I would just declutch in current gear and only select the appropriate when needed."
Yeah, it's getting into bad habits, though, isn't it, doing that? Yeah, it's. When I'm driving a car with gears, I always still do it the correct way. Sometimes you might need that gear to get you out of trouble. It's no good being in neutral, messing about trying to find the right gear. I always wanted to be in the correct gear to zoom away if need be.
JJ Forfall said, "Sarah was on this morning when they were messing about with the camera. Wish I'd put the makeup on now." Coventry Goth Girl said, "Much better learner than me then, Tony. I took my test in a manual 4 times, failed each, had 10 lessons in an auto and passed first time." And Ibby's just said, "You're in the Operation Brock stretch of the M20 now. And are you really thinking of moving to Deal?"
I would love to move to the coast. I mean, that's the first time I've been to Deal, so it's a bit sort of, a bit spontaneous to say, "Yay, we're going to move there." Yeah. I'd like to check these places out, but I definitely would want to move to the south coast sometime. Yeah, away from our area. Our area's it's going downhill quite quickly, I think.
Definitely changing.
Yeah, and it's not going to get any better, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So when you move out, it's nicer. Yes, you can still have trouble wherever you go. Doesn't matter wherever you go. There still could be some nutcase around the corner, but it's less. There's going to be less chance of it happening the further out you go in this country at the moment. If you go into any city, and it's
just busy. It's grubby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
I don't know what would I have to change the name of the Dashcam channel though, or the YouTube channel, the London Dashcam, living in Deal, or living anywhere on the south coast?
I guess you could still drive in. Once a Londoner, always a Londoner.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Make MP 1997 Gaming said, "Anyhow, I will understand you, Tony, because in a way I'm a victim because of those bad apples." Michelle Simpson said, "There's nothing wrong with a bit of mystery." Wood Tugger said, Hasn't Tony already shown his face? He has previously mentioned that back in the day he was the one holding the spanner in the PG Chimps advert. Laugh out loud. Alan said, "That's cheeky. What gatter?" Laugh out loud. What gatter said, "It's a good thing Tony can take a joke."
I did show my face, didn't I, really, when I put my picture up with me and my motorbike, but then I have changed quite a lot since then. When I was about 18, I think, in that picture.
Is that the one with you and your dad?
Yeah. And my brother.
Yeah, and your brother.
Yeah, so I've changed quite a lot since then.
Ibby said, "Narrow lanes, make sure your elbow is in the car, Tony." And the LDC would become the DDC.
Yeah.
Alan Howard said, "I know someone who would have blew a gasket at that comment. What gatter." Peter Scott said, "Evening both of you, just got in from work, how you doing? And have you seen any idiots?
One on the way back so far.
Mm-hmm. So Coventry Goth Girl said, if you get to go back to Deal, Google a holiday cottage called King's Holiday Cottage Deal and go and see it. It's a beautiful location. I've stayed there and it's got its own wheelchair lift. Oh wow. Christine Twine said, keep your boat race private. It's a lot safer that way. You never know who's out there.
That is
Kind
true.
of agree.
But there's so many people that do put their face on their screen, you know. A lot of the dash cam channels that I watch, they do, but I guess they're a little bit different. They don't have a go at people the way I do, I guess. You know, if like the other day when I had to go at Dundee, you know, can you imagine if she saw me walking down the high street? You know, she knew who I was. I think I'd have a few confrontations all the time.
And do those people that put their faces out there also make it clear the area that they live in?
Yeah, most of the time, yeah. You got Dashcam Hull who does it. Ashley Neal, they're from Liverpool, all always got their face on, always around the area what they're in, and they get recognised as well. But they get recognised in a more of a hi, you know, how you doing sort of thing. Love the channels, that sort of thing.
Oh, look at that dog.
With me, I think I might get smacked about a bit.
So Ashley Neal, I thought it was the one that eats in all the places. That's
Ashley. Gary Eats.
Oh right, Gary Eats. So Ashley Neal's not the one on the bike with the funny little voice?
No.
No, okay.
He does ride a bike. He's got a channel that does bikes as well.
And who's the black cab man? Is that him? That's not him.
That's Tom.
Oh, okay.
Tom the cabbie.
So I don't think I've seen Ashley Neal then.
He's the teacher. He teaches driving instructors.
I don't think I have seen
Liverpool
him.
guy.
Okay.
The weird thing is with Ashley Neal's channel, when I first stumbled across that many years ago, I'm a little bit older than him. I'm probably about eight years older than him, I think. And I sort of looked at him and I thought, I recognise you. How do I recognise you? You're from Liverpool and I'm from London. It's sort of, how do I recognise you? And it was doing my head in, so I had to Google him. And I Googled him, and what I was seeing in the car wasn't him, it was his dad. I recognised his dad because he looks really like his dad, and his dad was Phil Neal, the footballer from Liverpool and England. So that's the funny how the mind plays tricks on you, sort of thing. I was looking and seeing his dad, thinking I recognised him, but I didn't. I recognised his old man.
Brian Sparrow said, I left Sutton many years ago. The only thing I recognise is the station when you drive by. Yeah, the high street has changed beyond all recognition. Alan Howard said, Core, PG Tips ad brings back memories. Like the summer of 1976 was a hot one, but we paid for it with massive thunderstorms after. Incidentally, it was Christmas 1976 that I got my rally grifter. And Vinnie M said, newsflash, YouTuber beaten up in the beer aisle at Lidl by a very angry driver. Laugh out loud. That's the fear, you see, Vinnie. You got it in one there.
Maybe I need to have a camera on me full time so I catch these people. If they did do that, at least I'll have some good footage of me being beaten up by some crazy woman in the
called
beer
Sarah.
Called Sarah, yeah. Hit me over the head with a bottle of Chardonnay.
Oh dear. Coventry Goth Girl said, remember you mentioned the 3 castles walk in Deal and couldn't quite remember the 3? They're Dover, Walmer and Deal. Been to all 3 and they're stunning. Yeah, we'll have to visit them. We're told as well that there's one in Sandown as well. But I'm not quite sure where Sandown is. Obviously no Sandown on the Isle of Wight, but apparently there's a Sandown in Kent, and we walked down Sandown Road as well. So Alan Howard said, can you and Sarah remember the rally grifter bike, Tony?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was either that or you had a chopper. I had the chopper. The original chopper. If I'd kept the original chopper, how much was that worth now?
I had a Pave Master from Halfords. It's not the same at all. No. Paul Bateman said, I had a Grifter XL. Alan said, loved mine. Was able to ride my bike backwards sitting on the handlebars.
Oh yeah, the soppy things we used to do back then, eh? But my mate had a Grifter and I had a chopper, and we always used to swap bikes all the time. We both liked each other's bikes.
Susie Forrester said, have you still got your chopper, Anthony?
No, I haven't. Or are you being a little bit rude?
Susie's just said, ha ha.
And note that she's the only one that calls me Anthony as well.
Yeah, I noticed
she
that.
She tells me off.
Anthony with a TH as well.
Oh, B-bar over to the left.
And a dirty car over to the right.
Yeah, no number plate. You can't see that, can you?
Alan said, I remember when I had mine, I pulled the front brake, swung the bike to the right and blew out the back tyre. Michelle Simpson said, my husband had a chopper. Ibby said, that's the police refuge I mentioned earlier. I saw it just now with the car there, but he didn't chase the dirty car. Coventry Goth Girl said, yes, you're right. There was a Sandown castle 5 minutes from Deal. It's a ruin, though. More of a community garden. You can sit there and have a picnic. That's good to know. Thank you for that. Something to explore when we next go down there. And some people are pressing little hearts and cheers, Tony, just so you know, which is very kind. Oh, and Susie has just said 43 watching, 38 likes, hit the thumbs up. And I think that's what people are doing, so thank you for that.
Nice one. Thank you.
Michelle Simpson said, my husband, hold on a moment. Oh, message has gone. I missed it. Sorry, Michelle. Alan said, I rode the chopper. I preferred the grifter. I started a craze at the time because everyone else was getting grifters, strikers, or boxers.
The grifter was more like your modern day BMX type shape, wasn't it? Compared to the chopper, which was, chopper shape.
And Coventry Goth Girl has said, keep popping the hearts and cheers, people. And I can see some hearts and 100% and cheers.
Lots of traffic.
Oh.
Get out of the way of that, I think.
Michelle Simpson said, my husband said you could hurt your bits on the gear lever.
Yeah. Yes, you could. That's why we always swap bikes when we did the little stunts and everything. It would be, you do it on the other one, you do it on the grifter. You come a cropper trying to jump a ramp or something on the chopper and you went forward, yeah, that could hurt.
Alan Howard said, that's how the BMXs were born. They took the design from the grifter.
Yeah, made them a bit lighter.
Oh, this little doggy is out for the count.
Everyone wants to go there, don't they?
Maidstone and Chatham and Aylesford.
Wherever the first lane is. Where's the first lane go there? Because they're all in that.
Maidstone and Chatham.
Yeah.
Coventry Goth Girl said, "Oh dear, what's causing the queue?"
Don't know.
Vinnie M said, "Yeah, the grifters were very heavy." Alan Howard said, "I have a scar on my left hand after falling from my grifter. Got a stone lodged in my hand and went to the doctors to get it took out." Simon Mitchner's back. "Hello, Simon." And he said, "Are we there yet?" Alan said, "I screamed the house down." I bet you did. It sounds nasty. And Simon said, "Hello, Sarah. Thanks for joining us for the journey back." And he said, "Oh yeah, hi Tony too, I suppose." Vinnie M said to Alan, "Yeah, but was the bike okay?" Laugh out loud. Alan's just said, "I had all kinds of incidents on my grifter, but I love that bike." Ibby has said, "It's good to be in lane 3 when lane 1 is all queued up, just in case someone decides to pull out. Also to avoid queue jumpers in lane 2 having to almost stop to barge into lane 1. Same at M25A3.
There was one car that did it as well, and you'll never guess what car it was.
That
Always
white one.
an Audi.
That white one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
At the beginning, yeah. Simon said, "Audi."
Indeed.
Vinnie M said, "I had more accidents on my cheap plastic skateboards." Alan said, "Vinnie, the bike was okay. It went into slip gear. I was pedalling like mad. It came to a stop and I fell off outside my house." And Coventry Goth Girl is just saying, "It was an Audi."
Yep.
Junction 3, Junction 2, 20-minute delay.
That's all right. That's the other way. Don't affect us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he's in the middle lane. Neither. I'm not going round him.
Did you do an undertake?
Yeah.
Is that allowed?
It's not illegal, but it's advised not to do it. But you know what he's doing is you can get done for that.
Alan said, "Now the grifter is a sought after bike. They're selling up to £1,000 on some sites."
Yeah.
Ibby is saying, "I remember Tony saying that although 3 considers Audis good cars, would never have one due to driver image. Same for me."
Not unless Audi actually approached me and said, "We're going to give you a car to review and you can keep it afterwards." that might be a little bit different. I might.
How many miles? Sorry, or
You might be back on. I think we lost you again.
With a better signal soon.
So now we're just about to go on to the good old M26. which does eventually go to the good old M25.
Just going back to some of the messages. Where are we? Alan was saying that £1,000 for the bike depends on the condition of the bike. Vinny said, I remember I ruined my red Carol that folded in on its own, haha. And I read something a little while ago from Ibby saying a 3, but he meant he. I didn't read it properly, sorry about that. And then a few people were just commenting about bad connectivity, circle of death, and that we'd gone again. Coventry Goth Girl said, I can't seem to reply to certain comments for some reason, but Ibby's comment on being in lane 3, agree there. I do that on the M1 when I go to Derby, because lanes 1 and 2 are just a danger zone.
Yeah, I do it on the M25 by the A3, where everyone does it. You've seen it on the channel loads of times where I do it, and it happens every time someone stops in lane 2 to get into the slip road. It keeps everyone waiting. So dangerous.
Simon Mitchner said, looks like bad connectivity zone. Hopefully we're back now okay. Vinny M said, got to go, safe journey home guys. Bye Vinny.
See you later Vinny.
Have a nice evening, weekend. Lisa Sargent said, phone ran out of juice. Ibby said, yes exactly, I'm not a lane hog, but I feel it's safer in lane 3 in those situations. Paul Bateman has said, I think Tony has gone into a tunnel. Susie's just said bye to Vinny. M3D 1807 has said, welcome to Google Roundabout. Lisa has said, look forward to the edited highlights. A few people just commented then saying that we're back online now. Michelle Simpson said, I'll have to take my leave as my public awaits at work tonight. We have a band named The Beat, Tony. Beat tonight. Bye. Hope you have a good night, Michelle.
See you later.
And I hope the band's good. Alan Howard said, the Chris Rea Road, 25, will be busy. And Susie's just said bye, Michelle. Alan Howard said M23, not 25.
Yeah, that always is coming into town, the M23, going into the A23.
Ibby said back online now. Simon Mitchner said, sorry to get you to repeat yourself, Tony, but the shaky connection kicked in just as you were answering. I heard I got 150 and then nothing.
Yeah, I've probably done about 150 miles already, and I've at the moment I've got 140 left. So we're looking at around about 300 miles range ish, which I said before, that's about right. Do I really want to be driving more than 300 miles a day? Definitely not. And if I did, I would and should have a break while it charges up again. So yeah, it's all right actually. 300 miles is probably about right for a day's drive.
Alan Howard said M25, not M23. Coventry Goth Girl said, yay, you're back. Lost you for a bit then. Ibby said, picture quality dropped though. Ice B, aka P77 Ice, said, good evening. Hope you had a good day today. We did, thank you.
Yeah. Dodgy morning, but a good day.
M3D 1807 said the M25 equals the Great Wall of London. And Simon Mitchner said that's not too shabby as range goes. And Alan Howard said the M25, the road everyone loves to hate.
go shopping on the way home?
I'm not sure. Possibly. I might need a Friday night drinky. Auntie Trev said, what time do you think you'll get home?
About 7 o'clock. 45 minutes time, 25 miles we've still got to go.
Where are we now then, do you reckon? Any idea what
We're on the M26. We're not far away from the M25.
So like,
and then it's, you know, not that far then. I mean, we're 25 miles away.
So we go back in through West Wickham way like we did on the way here?
No, we won't go that way. No, we go down the M23. It's the quickest, easiest route. But on the way here, I wanted to do something a bit different because that's what we always seem to do. Wherever we go, it always goes that way, and just something else to do, something else for everyone to see, going through Croydon and that sort of areas, you know.
Ice B, aka P77 Ice, said, good, it's still light out. Alan Howard asked, are you having a Chinese tonight, Sarah?
I planted that seed on you last time.
They didn't they? Yeah. And we differed and and ahed about it, and then decided, it was actually pouring down with rain that night.
Yeah.
And we decided after a big deliberation that yes, we would actually have a takeaway, because we so rarely have a takeaway, and the takeaway we were going to have was going to be a Chinese. Got out of the car and couldn't believe it. Chinese takeaway was closed for 2 weeks. Unbelievable. But wasn't meant to be. Auntie Trev said, ooh, just in time for Emmerdale. Steve Davis has said, hello peeps, I've been watching since this morning, but you've been on and off all day. Take care and drive safe. Hello Steve, and thank you.
Thank you.
Coventry Goth Girl said, I wish I was where you are. Attempted to build a new folding dining table today, as well as my poor thumb got one of the steps wrong. Now I've got to rectify it. Don't you just hate that? Oh, how frustrating. Ibby said, as you are Surrey based, I highly recommend RHS Wisley Gardens, if you can get around the roadworks, that is. Wisley was my very dear mum's favourite. Also near there is Anchor Pub in the river. So Ibby, I've been to Wisley 3 times and loved it. It's really nice to get to, but really difficult if you go by public transport from where we are. I'm a big fan of Kew Gardens and go there quite a lot. I think I've dragged Tony to Kew once, and he's given me a lift to Wisley once. And yeah, not Tony's favourite kind of thing.
It's not great at the moment trying to get there. It's because of the roadworks on the A3. It's just awful. It's chock-a-block. So now we are about to enter the good old M25.
Mike Kenworthy said, after my comment on your last video, I was hoping to see you in Blackpool. Maybe one day, Mike.
Yeah, maybe we would do a north one.
We could do, couldn't we?
But that would be a bit of a proper vlog, that one will be, because we'll have to charge up and all that sort of stuff.
Ice B, aka P77 Ice, said, I had a numpty hit me up the arse at a set of traffic lights. Numpty of the week, of course. Coventry Goth Girl said, I'm not having a Chinese or takeaway as I'm skint, but I'm having southern fried chicken and new potatoes.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Simon
the
Mitchell.
Food that is, not being skint.
Yeah.
Nobody likes being skint.
No. Simon Mitchner said, chicken with green peppers and black bean sauce. Just saying. Steve Davis, and we've also got a friend called Steve Davis, just saying that. Steve Davis has, oh sorry, Alan said Steve Davis has a very famous namesake. You'll know who he is.
Yeah.
Ibby said, yes, I'm a member of Q as well as the RHS. Ibby said, love hearing Tony say that. Smooth sailing for you so far. Good old M25, I mean, that's what he was glad to hear you say. Howard's just saying, Ibs, I was a member of the National Trust. I was a volunteer at Gibbside Rowlands Gill, which I absolutely loved. And Ibby said, I'll look that up. Steve Davis said, I'll be your friend too. And Coventry Goth Girl said, yay, good old M25.
Why is this 50 miles an hour? Look at the size of the road. 50 miles an hour.
Alan Howard said, Ibs, there's a few videos of Gibbside on YouTube. Simon Mitchener said, are you sure that's the M25? Where are the parking meters?
What's that mean? Speed limits enforced for system test. What?
On a Friday?
On a Friday night on rush hour, they do a test on the bloody speed limit signs. Unbelievable. The British workforce.
Lisa Sargent said, no roadworks. Music and More said, love your channel and enjoy watching. Been years since I've drove on the M25 and can't remember it ever being that empty. And Mike Kenworthy said, no cycle lane on the M25 yet.
Yeah, give it time.
Ibby said, I'll definitely look. That's at the YouTube videos that Alan mentioned. That's usually part of my research, YT videos. Thank you, Alan. Coventry Goth Girl said, is that a license to kill assassin in lane 2?
Yes, it is.
Ibsy said, yes, those system test signs have been up for weeks. Alan Howard said, on the M25, no traffic. That's a first. Normally it's chock-a-block. And Simon Mitchener said, don't even joke about things like that, to Mike Kenworthy, who mentioned about the cycle lane. Lisa Sargent said, that lane is big enough for my mobility scooter though. Auntie Trev said, haha, they certainly know how to push Tony's buttons. And Mike said, sorry, Simon. And we're now in Surrey, according to that sign back there.
Okay.
And you've still got 37 people in the back of your car keeping you company. So Alan Howard said, license to kill assassin, not driving a shitting Peugeot, is he? Laugh out loud.
Yeah. Their normal weapon of choice, a Prius.
Ibby's just said Surrey, UK, and not Surrey, British Columbia. I have to keep reminding myself. Alan Howard said 52-seater bus needed for 37 people.
Indeed. How is this 50 miles an hour?
Y-Beam has just joined and said hi.
Hello.
Coventry Goth Girl said, you should come to Coventry again, Tony. The Prius taxi drivers over here. Oh my God, you'll have smoke coming out of your ears.
I still haven't gone into central London to show you what they're really like in central London, because I generally drive on the suburbs and that, or in the suburbs. When I drive into central London, you'll see just how bad they are, and how bad cyclists are as well. Some of the cyclists are just awful. It's like they don't like living.
Auntie Trev said, Tony, where did you get the music for Khan's Assassins? I can't find it anywhere.
I don't know, actually. I was quite amazed that it's not copyrighted, because obviously it's a James Bond Indian tune, but that is the original tune, by the way, for James Bond. James Bond nicked it off the Indian edition, what I always play. I don't know where I got it from, to be honest.
Alan Howard said, that puts me in mind of a good Beatles song, Magical Mystery Tour. So Coventry Goth Girl said, sounds to me like we need that long-awaited central London content then. I, for one, can't wait. Will that be soon?
I hope so, yeah. Just to show you what it's like. You know, if you think you see some bad stuff with me now, you wait until I go central London. It's a nightmare.
You did a Monopoly one once, didn't you? I wonder if if she's seen any of that.
Yeah, but there wasn't really that much bad driving in that, though, to be honest.
More landmarks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ibby said, always love the opening sequence of LDC and the cheerful jingle with a police car down the hard shoulder and Tony cheerfully greeting, hello everybody. Thank you. Someone else has the same opening video sequence to LDC and it confused me one time. Simon Mitchener said, yes, Ibby, one of the better video openings.
I should make my own of that. Go to a bridge over the M25 or whatever and just do my own version of it. See how that comes out. With the same music though.
Ibby said, it's a perfectly good opening.
Leave it alone. If it ain't broken, don't try and fix it. One of them.
Alan said, the cyclists are a law unto themselves. They don't give a toss if they cause an accident that would involve themselves or other road users. I wish I had £1,000 for every time I've seen them. And Coventry Goth Girl said, oh yes, I remember the Landmarks Monopoly. That was a good one. But yeah, need to see the kamikaze cyclists and assassins in their natural habitat. Mike Kenworthy said 50 mile an hour on the matrix signs. Any reason for this?
Well, no, there is no reason for it. They're doing tests on the signs.
Oh, but this,
not on this one though. This one's an obstruction. Reports of I'll say it again. Reports of an obstruction ahead.
Brian Sparrow has said, are you going over the Dartford crossing?
No, that's well behind us, that is.
And Alan Howard said, Mike, the speed limits are probably for air quality. And Coventry Goth Girl said, Charlotte started laughing and kicking her legs now. She's loving this, guys. Oh, well done, Charlotte.
How old is Charlotte?
I don't know. How old is Charlotte? Coventry Goth Girl. Simon Mitchener said to Coventry Goth Girl, I worked in central ish London for 2 years, and all of the road users who caused me heart attacks, it was bicycle messengers who were the worst.
It's these Deliveroos and Uber Eats and that, they're just crazy.
And Mike Kenworthy said, cheers, Alan. Ibby said, I'm sure you've seen this too on the M25, a camera flash for someone in the opposite carriageway.
Hey, we got the national speed limit sign up when we're just about to come off the M25. Great.
Coventry Goth Girl said, wow, Simon, I can well believe it. Simon said, it was way before Deliveroo, Tony. I was in London in the early 80s.
All right. No, I'm talking about now, to be honest.
Alan Howard said, Coventry Goth Girl, she's not the only one who's loving this. I'm in love with this channel to bits. Tony and Sarah are the best. And you're very kind to say that, Alan.
Yeah, thank you.
Ibby just said, national speed limit. I can almost hear George Michael singing Freedom. Coventry Goth Girl said, Charlotte is 16 and she's got severe cerebral palsy. And yes, agree with Alan there. Sweet 16, Charlotte. I'm really glad you're enjoying the video. I hope you have a lovely evening, and thank you for watching, Charlotte. Jilly Jill said, agree with Alan. And Simon Mitchner said, laugh out loud, Ibby. I can hear Status Quo singing, keep your eyes on the road. And Ibby said, God bless Charlotte. Make MP 1997 gaming. Well, I'm going to watch something else, so I wish you all a good journey. Take care. Thanks for watching so far. Andrew Crawshaw said, I was in Castleford 1 year travelling 2 miles an hour on a bicycle, and a pedestrian barged me off my bicycle. It's not always a cyclist. I think we've been to Castleford. Isn't that where there was that big snow centre, snow dome? Yeah. And Coventry Goth Girl said, thank you. And Ibby said to Coventry Goth Girl, you're very welcome. Haven't got much signal at the moment. No, I don't think we're buffering or anything yet, but the signal is really hardly anything.
I've got 5G on that.
Well, I'm looking on my phone. I don't know. Yeah. Ibby said, nice that daylight hours are longer. If this was winter, it would be dark a while ago.
Yeah.
Andrew Crawshaw said, yes, you are. Simon Mitchner said, well, yes, Alan, but thought Roadhouse Blues was appropriate. Failing that, Golden Earring and Radar Love, or 2468 Motorway by, forgot the artist. And NMJ, when I hear you two, I think of Eels and Mash with liquor. Yum.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well, not eels, but can't beat a bit of pie mash.
Oh, you got to have eels. I'm not a fan of stewed eels, but jellied eels. Oh yes.
Ibs, it would have been dark at 4 p.m, said Alan. Coventry Goth Girl said Charlotte is particularly partial to the sound effects on the channel. She loves the quack noise especially. You'll have to pop a few of those on for Charlotte in your next video, Tone. Steve Davis said Tom Robinson, and Ibby said indeed Howard. Simon Mitchner said lucky we got a lot of quacks on the channel then, eh, Coventry Goth Girl? Alan Howard said Simon was the Tom Robinson band. How about Cars, E-Reg model, Gary Newman? Ibby said, sorry, I meant Alan. Just going through Hooli now. You're right. Good girl. Here's a good girl. Simon said, thank you, Steve Davids. That's him. Coventry Goth Girl said, agree with Simon there. Sorry, I can't tag for some reason. Oh.
Nearly home.
Ibby has said, is it spelt Hooley? I think it is spelt the way you've done it, Hooley.
Yeah.
Sure, it's Ley, isn't it? Yeah. Simon Mitchner said, I should have thought about Gary Newman. He lived just down the road to me. Kaylee Eaton said, finally get to watch you guys live. Always miss them, but not today. Love your videos. Thank you, Kaylee. Alan Howard said, there's also I'll Find My Way Home by John and Vangelis, or Road to Nowhere, Talking Heads. NMJ said, cup of tea, you two? Oh, don't mind if I do.
Prefer a vodka?
Yeah, actually, I couldn't say no to a gin. Coventry Goth Girl said, could you do a live drive to Coventry, Tony, or would that be too far?
We could do. No, it'd be tight on the range, but we would get it.
Where are we? Rachel Fleming said, more parking on the pavement. Hi, by the way. Hi, Rachel. Ibby said, Hooley is what I'd call out if a customer broke an expensive piece of crystal in a shop. Alan Howard said, a vodka for Tony and a Chinese for Sarah. Deal. Or no deal. Where are we? Simon Mitchner said to Coventry Goth Girl, do you want to send Tony and Sarah to Coventry? We did go to Coventry years ago.
I went there not that long ago on a job.
Coventry, is that near Newcastle under Lyme?
No, way down.
Way down.
Down.
Maybe we stopped in Coventry on the way to Newcastle under Lyme.
Newcastle's a long way from Coventry.
Steve David said, I'm just opening a can of fermented apple juice which I know Tony used to pick up in Hackbridge.
Yeah.
But last video, remember he went over to distilled potato. If so, try 42 below in New Zealand or Skye.
I generally like whiskey, but I find vodka's all right, and I feel better in the morning with vodka. And if I drink the old fermented apple stuff, I want to have a wee all night. So
it's been a very wee live drive,
yes.
hasn't it?
So you don't get this with any other YouTube channel, I'm sure.
You know,
stopping your
Tony's toilet habits.
Yeah.
Coventry Goth Girl said, "Ha Simon, I know what you mean there. Might be worth a hotel stay then, so you can charge up." Alan Howard said, "Deal or no deal, have you met Noel Edmonds? Can you remember Swap Shop? He presented in the late 70s, early 80s. I watched it all the time."
Yeah.
Ibby said, "One time..."
No, yeah, I've seen it. I remember Swap Shop, yeah.
Yeah.
But then there was Tiswas on the other side, which I preferred.
I wasn't allowed to watch that.
Yeah, well,
Swap Shop was...
All the young boys wanted to watch Tiswas. Sally James was on there, wasn't they? Wasn't she?
Ibby said, "One time in Canada, I ordered a large Italian sandwich. I never lived it down with my friends after who would ask, 'Are you having a large Italian this week?' or variations thereof." Rachel Fleming said, "Can't beat No's house party." Steve David said, "Wait till you get to my age, wee all night." And Lisa Sargent said, "Magpie or Blue Peter?"
Ooh, bit of both, to be honest. Probably more Magpie.
Can you sing the theme tune?
No, I can't. Can you?
Magpie.
No, you obviously can't sing the theme tune.
One's for sorrow, two's for joy, three for a girl and four for a boy. I'll stop that now. Sorry, yes. Everybody. Alan Howard said,
"Look at that, they've all left the room now. Look, we've all left the live drive. We've got no one in here now. You started singing."
Alan Howard said, "What did Tiswas stand for, Tony?"
Oh.
Today is Saturday. Watch and... I'm guessing.
I don't know. I don't know. I should know it. I should definitely know it.
Oh, Simon's just said to Alan, "It may be This Is Saturday, Watch and Smile." I bet it was. I bet that was it. Ibby said, "I remember Noel Edmonds in the early Top Gear." Steve said, "Just love this every time." Coventry Goth Girl said, "Oh, leave Sarah alone. She's got a lovely voice." No. So there, Tony. I might have added that bit on the end.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coventry Goth Girl.
You must like Morrissey then.
Jilly Jill said, "Do you remember how?"
Yes.
Do you remember how? Alan Howard said, "Today is Saturday, Watch and Smile." Lisa Sargent, "OTT was over the top." Coventry Goth Girl said, "I salute a single magpie." Ibby said, "I remember the Wide Awake Club," and they exclaimed, "We're wide awake." I remember that. Timmy Mallet. Timmy Mallet. And what was that little bird called? Can you remember? Magic. Yeah. Exclaimed, yeah. Simon Mitchener said, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret never to be told. Do you remember Why Don't You? Yep. I used to like that. Yeah, I used to do a lot of craft things. Rachel Fleming said, Michaela Strachan. She was good. She's still really good. She does a lot of...
She's an animal
person
now, yeah. She environment thing. Rachel Fleming, you've only just joined, or have you been on there all day? She sends me stuff. Rachel sends me videos.
Oh, nice one.
And she gets a good following of. She talks like me when she shouts at people.
Jilly Jill said Phantom Pie Flinger. Ibby said OTT Chris Tarrant. And Lisa Sargent said yes. Steve David said can't beat Banana Bunch. And Andrew Crawshaw said I remember Crackerjack. Oh yeah, that was Friday night, wasn't it?
What about the banana splits? La 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 la. That one.
You're singing now, are you? You've got a good voice. Simon Mitchner said to Jilly Jill, I do, yes, early, Fred Dinage and others. How that they're talking about. Alan Howard said, I was a swap shop and magpie lad. On the odd occasion, 'tis was. Coventry Goth Girl said, thank you, Simon. I've never known the full magpie song. Ibby said, Johnny Morris, Animal Farm. I think it was Animal Magic, Ibby. Jilly Jill said, Hair Bear Bunch. Rachel Fleming said, I've been saving some clips. I did shout today. Alan Howard said, Coventry Goth Girl magpie theme is on YouTube. Ibby said, out in the country, Jack Hargreaves.
Oh, in his horse and cart, go fishing or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. And Coventry Goth Girl said, thank you, Alan.
You imagine that now, talk to children with a pipe in your mouth and all that sort of stuff like he used to do. Who were going to stab this maggot and throw it in the water and get a fish.
Ibby said, yes, Animal Magic. Steve Davis said, got it in one, Tony, just testing. Every day a school day. Lisa Sargent said, size of a horse.
That's the one, yeah. Knights of Arabia or something like that, wasn't it? That one.
Alan Howard said, Tony, who sang the magpie theme?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
Ibby said, Grange Hill, flipping heck, Tucker. Samo lives down the road from us.
Yeah.
Got a locksmith. Hey, well, never really met him, but see him a lot round and about.
He still gets called Samo, doesn't
yeah.
it? Always.
Just say no.
Yeah.
Coventry Goth Girl said, my granddad's name was Jack Hargreaves. Not even kidding, but I don't think they're one and the same, Ibby. Alan Howard said, Spencer Davis Group sang Magpie theme. And Lisa just replied as well at the same time saying Spencer Davis Group to Alan. And Simon Mitchner said, well, really, Alan, would not have guessed that.
So we've definitely all shown our age today.
Yeah. How young we all are. Jilly Jill said, Skippy. God, that used to make me cry. The bush kangaroo. Da-da-da-dun, da-dun, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Champion the Wonder Horse.
Oh. Alan Howard said, I used to love Grange Hill. One of the cast works in an estate agents in Carshalton. Who is she? Don't know. Do tell. Alan said he used to love Grange Hill. One of the cast works in an estate agents in Carshalton. Who is she?
Don't know.
Jilly Jill said, was that the one with the lion? I'm not sure. Lisa Sargent said, who put the film in backwards and drowned Flipper? Alan Crawshaw said, used to watch Andy Pandy as a toddler. Alan Howard said it's Imelda Davis who played, or Imelda Davis, Fleur Tickner. I can't quite remember that one, that character. Coventry Goth Girl said, if my dad was still watching right now, you'd have certainly taken him on a trip down memory lane with all those old shows. Steve Davis said, used to be a key cutter. Simon Mitchner to Jilly Jill said, Dactari. Ibby said, oh wow, Coventry Goth Girl, my last name sounds the same as a Canadian grocery store chain. When staff say my name, Mr. whatever it is, others think I'm in the CEO. Others think I am the CEO. Rachel Fleming said, okay, I might be a little young for these shows. I was a Power Rangers fan. Did you get a green Power Ranger, Rachel? Because I can remember us desperately trying to get a green one for our son. Jilly Jill said, I've got no messages coming up. Oh no.
I don't know why.
And Coventry Goth Girl said, nice one, Ibby. Jilly Jill said, thanks, Simon, have now. And Lisa Sargent said, refresh. Rachel Fleming said, never got a Green Ranger, sadly. Had the lunchbox, though. And Jilly Jill said, I did, thanks. Alan Howard said, Imelda Davis hung around with two other girls. She was introduced in last episode of Series 8 and left Series 10, Episode 10. And Ice B, aka P77 Ice, said Grange Hill was my favourite.
When you think that the Power Rangers ain't that long ago, but two of them have died.
Oh, really?
Two of the Power Rangers have died, yeah.
Jilly Jill said, I love Tucker.
Yeah.
Andrew Crawshaw, I had to laugh a little while ago. My brother was going to give his grandkids a DVD of Ivor the Engine. They didn't get it. We did show our grandson Trumpton. Was it Trumpton?
Yeah.
And he watched it for a little while. I held his attention for a little while. Coventry Goth Girl said, oh no, are you about to see some good old British workforce ahead?
Yeah, we are. There's some roadworks here.
Jilly's just clarifying it's Tucker that she said, and Iceby, aka P77 Ice, said classics. Lisa Sargent said Tucker was in the Please Sir film. No, that was a long time after, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or a long time before.
Yeah, the Police Sir one was about 70s, early 70s as well.
Early 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah, it might have been
John Alderton.
when he was
What
young.
were the characters?
Duffy.
Duffy, that was it.
Was the main character, Dennis.
Yeah. Simon Mitchner said to Andrew Crawshaw, I have the complete clangers on DVD. Alan Howard said, I remember Ivor the Engine, the noises it made, you can remember the sound. Coventry Goth Girl said, deep breaths, Tony. Jilly Jill said, I loved Ivor. And Rachel Fleming said, oh, don't get me started about roadworks at the moment. And Alan Howard said, Please Sir film was made in 1971. It's really good. We've watched that a few times.
Yeah, it is very, very good. Much better than the series, I thought.
Yeah. Ibby said, I remember Please Sir with John Alderton. He was also in My Wife Next Door with Hannah Gordon. Still remember his Ford Capri. Alan Howard said, Sarah, your voice is low. Oh, I wonder if my microphone has run out of... Not sure why that is. I think my microphone has run out of charge, so sorry about that. I'll try to speak up a little bit and hopefully you can hear.
You need to speak to that one.
So I'll throw my voice at that. Tony's just going to check the mic. Jilly Jill said Simon, my late sister's favourite. And Coventry Goth Girl said, Sarah, your voice has gone well quiet. And Ibby said, yes, I was just about to say Sarah's sound far from the phone.
We've just swapped microphones. One, no, it's
oh, sorry.
Auntie, mic's gone dead.
Auntie Trev said, pew pew Barney McGrew, Cuthbert Dibble and Grub. And Rachel said, are you behind a London bus? Can't tell.
Yeah, we was. I can't see this guy. Is it? Oh, it must be emergency blood guy in front of us. Doesn't look like it.
What? Emergency blood?
This guy on the bike.
Oh, sorry. Don't know what that was. Just clipping that on my collar. Jilly Jill said it was Hugh Barney
McGrew. Dibble and Grub or whatever it was, isn't it?
That's what Auntie Trev said. He said pew pew Barney McGrew, Cuthbert Dibble and Grub. So we just swapped microphones. You probably heard that. And Alan said, boy, you've had the technical gremlin today. Too right we have.
Yeah.
Coventry Girl said, I watched Trumpton when I was little, even though it was before my time. Did you watch Tom and Jerry? Yeah.
Yeah, used to like Tom and Jerry actually.
And Ibby said, it's a blood bike, yes.
I guess you can't hear me properly now then. But then that's not a bad thing, I guess.
Rachel said, Tom and Jerry was hilarious. And Alan Howard said, where are you now?
We're just coming into Wallington.
Jilly Jill said, on white horses, snowy white horses.
Do you want to go to the...
Could go to a supermarket to get something for this evening. I don't mind which one. Coventry Goth Girl said, no, now you've gone quiet now, Tony, you'll need to shout.
Okie
dokie. Ibby said, when I was in hospital for 4 weeks, I wondered if any of my blood was delivered by bike. Could well have been, Ibby. More than likely was, actually. Craig T. Stratton said, fun fact, the original name was Jasper and Jinx for Tom and Jerry. Where are we? Coventry Goth Girl has said, you going to Lidl?
Well, it's funny you should say that.
Ibby said, can still hear Tony as well. Alan Howard said, am I right in saying this live drive is nearly over?
It is nearly over, yeah.
Simon Mitchener said, Ibby, they just took my blood when I was in hospital. And Lisa Sargent has said, yes, Alan. Auntie Trev said, I've got a 5 DVD set of Tom and Jerry cartoons, got it in a charity shop for £4. Ibby said, supermarket equals always an Audi. And Simon has laughed out loud at that. Coventry Goth Girl said, wow, Craig, that is a fascinating fact. That's about the Jasper and Jinx.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that. Rachel Fleming said, "Is that the Lidl with the ninjas?"
No, it's a different one. That one was Rose Hill with the ninjas.
And Alan said, "Boo-hoo, I want more. No, honestly, I've loved this." Thank you, Alan. Jilly Jill said, "Are you matching with my TV?" And Coventry Goth Girl said, "So have I, Auntie Trevor." And Lisa Sargent has said, "Watch that bike. That bike has not got a crash helmet on his head and he's not holding on. And he looks like David Blaine."
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing there.
He's got achy hands.
It's indicating both ways.
Yeah. Rachel Fleming said, "Will the bike rider go through a red?" Oh.
It's going to go on the wrong side of the road. Yeah, so technically he has gone for a red there.
Kaylee Eaton said, "Can we have a shower of appreciation of Sherry Lewis and lamb chop?" Yes, definitely. Good call, Kaylee. Neil Blow said, "Lovely to see you doing a live drive, so hopefully see you again on the next video. Take care, both of you." Thank you, Neil. Oh, B-bar. Coventry Goth Girl said, "Numpty cyclist of the week." Alan Howard said, "At least on these live drives, we haven't had YouTube chat service causing issues this time."
Very true. Sarah is in a position to do it now, to get rid of them.
What a lovely evening.
So we're almost done now, guys, because our supermarket of choice is just round the corner here.
Just so you know, Rachel Fleming has said it's been wonderful weather this week. Alan Howard said it's nice here in Hartlepool. Temperature is 19 degrees now. Coventry Goth Girl said it's going to be the best day weather-wise tomorrow, and then it's going to turn next week, so make the most of it. And Jilly Jill said, "Oh, shame."
Now we might struggle with signal in a minute.
I think we probably will, because this is where it all started to go horribly wrong this morning.
Yeah.
Auntie Trev said, "I think Mr. Jinx was with Pixie and Dixie." Craig T. Stratton said, "My mother has gone on holiday to Malta. Turns out had better weather here." So I'm going to say goodbye now, just in case this cuts out.
Yeah. It might still work, but if it doesn't, thanks a lot for watching, guys.
Yeah, we will keep chatting, but thank you very much for watching and for your company.
We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah. But like I say, I'll still keep chatting just in case you can still hear us. Alan Howard said, "One car in front of you, I can't stand the Volvo." Jilly Jill said, "Thank you guys, take care, can't wait for the next one." And Lisa Sargent said, "Take care, Sarah and Tony." Annie V is waving goodbye. Andrew Crawshaw said, "Ta-ta, folks, great drive." Rachel Fleming said, "Take care, and I'll send the clips over soon."
Cool.
Alan Howard said, "Take care both, looking forward to the next one." Jubilee said, take care, you two. Have a lovely evening. Jilly Jill said, I wanted to send you two something. Just saying that, Jilly Jill, is a gift enough. Thank you. Auntie Trev said, thanks for a lovely day out. Good night, all. Susie Forrester said, very pleasant day, no haters. Ibby said, thank you so very much. Simon Minchner said, have a great evening, you two. Monkey in the Works said, thank you, Tony and Sarah. Alan Howard is waving. Ibby said, see you again soon. Ice PA, aka P77, I said, all the best for this evening. And a big thank you again to for sending us good wishes, some money for a treat when we were out today. Still can't quite believe that. Yeah, thank you. And Simon has said, bye everyone. Hopefully see you in the next one. And Raymond is waving goodbye. And peace to all.
Okay, guys, we're going to leave it there. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.
Bye.